Whoa. Charlie's not here, I don't think.
What?
Yo, you didn't clap or anything. I didn't see your thing light up.
Of course I clap.
I didn't see it light up. How am I meant to know? I thought maybe your computer crashed or something. I don't know.
All right.
Good start.
Yeah, that was the start.
Hello, everyone. I'll take it from here. I'll fix this intro, this mess, this sloppy, unprofessional pile. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the best podcast on the internet. I will say that with full sincerity. Because how many other groups of man friends could talk about absolutely nothing important for however many fucking episodes we've done this and been consistently perfect with an incredibly handsome audience? And to keep that momentum going, here's Jackson with a wonderful topic.
Also, let's just do another clap sync. Jackson's made me paranoid. Count us down, Jackson.
Well, what, did you clap or did you not?
I did, but not, if it didn't, maybe it didn't get picked up on audio or something.
Well, I mean, you can see it on your audio. It doesn't matter if I saw it or not.
We're gonna run it back just to be safe. Plus, this will be a really cool intro anyway. Double clap.
This is the way of Charlie throwing me under the bus. By the way, he absolutely didn't clap, and now he's trying to gaslight me into thinking I'm the bad guy.
No, I did clap, but
smart.
if you didn't hear it, that makes me a little concerned.
All right, after one, 3, 2, 1.
I put a little extra elbow grease on it. Did you hear it?
Were you guys watching him? His thing didn't light up again. I'm not even joking.
Okay, then
No,
then
I
there's
didn't watch him.
then there's something gone awry. But that's 2 claps now.
All right, and then we still on the same intro though. We've used the intro already. Danny's gonna place that. No,
Danny's
just leave the
keeping this
recording
entire thing in. Leave this entire thing in.
This is the entire episode, and it perfectly
use the first
encapsulates
clap.
Andrew's point. No, true. The first clap would still be there, realistically. Don't clap again.
Third.
No, that's too many claps now. You fucked it.
Now we have to do it again.
They're just a mess with Danny.
And he's gonna have to bring his A game to this one.
That's right.
Yeah, we've got to be the longest running podcast at this point, right? Most episodes.
Painkiller already.
Yeah. I forgot about PK.
I mean,
yeah.
doesn't Joe Rogan also have like 2,000 episodes?
Well, he does it like daily though, right?
What? Oh, so that doesn't count? What the fuck is your point?
No, that's meaningless.
Longest running weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said
Weekly
end of
only.
2016, which is
No, there's
7
gotta
years
be
ago.
way more.
If we're talking weekly same group podcast, then Painkiller already has us beat by quite a margin.
We're probably not even in the top 100 because then there's like Rooster Teeth and stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
Alright,
another one, yeah.
I think even Doug's show is longer than ours. And Carl's. Just the 2 people that I know. We're pretty new. But we can outlast them. What we have on them is we're younger. So one day they're gonna die and we can keep going.
But there's also younger people than us now. Definitely you and Andrew, for sure.
Oh,
far
yeah,
younger
thanks,
than you
man.
two.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
We're gonna die first. I might leave the podcast and my inheritance. Can I leave my seat and my will to a person of my choice?
If that means I don't have to listen to your shit anymore, Jackson, then good. Fine.
Man, it's fine
I
by
might kill
me.
myself right now.
You guys ever think about that though? You and Andrew specifically.
Killing myself?
No. No. Like
Every day.
there's people half your age starting podcasts right now, guaranteed, on TikTok.
Yeah. I was talking with Charlie about this like a week ago or something. The weirdest thing that hits me really hard with this is I will meet a new creator through one thing or another. So I'll be like, hey, I like your videos, and we'll talk on Twitter or, just hanging out with shit. And we'll be messaging and they'll say, yeah, it's really kind of weird because I graduated college last year and I'm trying to find a good place to live. And I'm like, man, I haven't been in college in like 8 fucking years.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's just so weird to think about that kind of shit.
At what point
I
do
don't
you
mind
think?
it at all.
At what age do you guys think that you'll age out of content and officially become uncool for doing YouTube?
Oh, I don't think I'm cool now. Who the fuck thinks they're cool for doing YouTube? But I don't know. I think
are you
classy
going all
ways
the
of
way to
continuing them.
Yeah, for sure. You got to pivot though. Are you Charlie? Do you see yourself doing this until you're 60?
Yeah, till I'm 80. The content you can make at that age too unlocks a whole new vertical, showing
It's
what
gonna
it
be
looks like.
It's
being
gonna be like
super
shot from
old.
the retirement village and stuff. It would be depressing.
Well, I think the kind of content that you envision, like that you cannot envision a 40-year-old doing, is also the kind of content that makes you cringe, even when it's a 17-year-old doing it.
True. But yeah, like pranks and stuff. I couldn't imagine an 80-year-old.
Yeah, like
doing
just
prank
screaming,
videos.
fake screaming and stupid pranks, and just yelling at the camera on Twitch while you're reacting to Ben Shapiro. It's like, regardless of your age, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But I don't mind. So, like, to answer your original question, I really don't mind it whenever I see like a very talented person on Twitter, like a 23-year-old who's already making really great music or really great art. I think that's cool. And I'm really happy actually that like younger people have access to that shit. One downside that I guess we could talk about though is that Gen Z is tech illiterate now. I think the middle
How?
generation got lucky. Well,
Like my generation.
how is I think they grew up with smartphones, right? Like boomers grew up without technology, basically without computers,
Right,
so
yeah.
that's forgivable. My mom doesn't know how email works even. Then came our generation, smack dab in the middle, just as technology was emerging, and it was difficult. We had to learn like, okay, how do I torrent Warcraft 3 and then crack it? Oh, I ruined my computer because it was a virus. Now I have to
I still
reformat
think-
it. I have to find a
Wait.
key.
I still think
But
like
the-
you're only talking about a small percentage of your generation. Though I still think there's a large chunk of, I don't know, whatever ancient
for sure, but
generation
I-
you're a part of that is tech illiterate.
Oh,
Well, I don't
certainly,
know
but I
anyone
still
that's our
think the
generation that
percentage is bigger than the new generation. I don't think like the average 16-year-old now knows as much as I did when I was 16, because now you just have smartphones. You just download Temple Run. You don't torrent games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
agree.
Kaya.
Yeah.
You're already showing your age too, by the way, you fucking geriatric. It's not Temple Run anymore. It's all about Subway Surfers.
Wait, Subway Surfers is also outdated, right? Subway Surfers was around like 7 years ago.
No, but that's still the hotness though. Like if you go on TikTok right now, a lot of the videos you'll see that are supposed to be like informative or something has Subway Surfer gameplay at the bottom to hold interest. It's all about
Really?
Subway Surfers, yeah.
So I was pretty sure that Subway Surfer and Temple Run came out at like the same time, that same kind of period of time.
It kind of
When,
did,
those
but
runners were all the rage.
yeah, but Subway Surfer is the one that's kind of stood the test of time that children can't get enough of running through the fucking subway, I guess.
Well, maybe that's the new pivot with content. We should jump on this bandwagon and pivot to Temple Run. It's going to be new and exciting.
Yeah, Danny,
But
can
it'll
you
scratch
just
the same itch?
bin all of our webcams? Can it just be Temple Run footage?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Subway
we want to make
Surfers.
sure, make sure people have enough stimulation.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
and
and it's
people
like
like
footage
fondling
of-
jelly.
Yes, perfect. And cutting up soap.
Put nothing but oddly satisfying gifs over where my webcam is.
Put hardcore pornography gifs over mine, please.
I don't
That's the
think
one
they
way
can
to
do that
get
on
attention.
YouTube yet.
But yeah,
But
I agree with
kittens, playful
Kaya.
kittens.
I agree with Kaya. I think that things are so simple and user friendly now that when an actual issue arises, people just cannot figure it out. Like I've got friends who just don't even know how to Google their own questions properly and like look for the answer the right way, you know?
Dude, I saw. So I'm not on TikTok, but I do see TikTok obviously when it like dumps on other social media or somebody sends me one. I saw this one that went viral apparently of a girl who blew her followers' minds by reverse image searching. And they were like, holy shit, you can, I knew you could look up photos with text, but the other way around, that's incredible. And I think now that we have AI and everything too, by the way, all the companies are going all in on AI. Like Microsoft has now laid off 10,000 people and they're now investing billions of dollars into OpenAI. And they said that they were going to make it basically part of all of their company, all of their products.
Nothing
So-
scary about that, right, guys?
Nope.
Hey, I don't work at
I think it's going
Microsoft.
to be integrated into Microsoft Word and whatnot. And
Only
Google
3
apparently
weeks
also said
after
that
that
they're going
debate,
to.
and I'm already being proven right that this is already having an effect on like the economy and jobs and stuff like that.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think
it
anyone
was
ever
certainly
argued
an
that.
effort.
We just
Yeah.
argued that it was going to start murdering people within the next week
Yeah.
or something because it could write your book
Well, it
report.
will when Microsoft owns it.
We
so.
all unanimously agree, Jackson, that this is going to cause disruptions in the workplace and changes to the economy. It's all streamlining,
no.
and this is the same shit that happened with car manufacturers and all that shit.
This is a rewriting of history, and I will
But how
not stand
far it
for
goes,
It's
that's a different
it's a new
story.
industrial revolution, and it's kind of amusing to watch. There's already like a lot of Reddit threads now of young people, like high school kids and shit, and college kids too, writing these threads like, "Oh, my teacher noticed that I used Chat GPT to write my essay. What do I do? He sent me to the dean's office. I might get expelled." To which my answer is, first of all, deny it. Well, how the fuck can they really 100% prove it, right? But now they're making AI to detect if something is written by AI or an image is made by AI. It's very entertaining to watch.
But how can
And you
an
can
AI
already
know
tell, like-
for sure? How can you know for sure that it's generated by AI?
Yeah, the AI could start lying. Like, hey, I
Just
guess you're
trying
bad.
to fuck this kid over.
You should AI generate your excuses, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You can. That's exactly how it works. So apparently when AI writes something, obviously it doesn't have like that human touch to it. It's like kind of too clinical. It doesn't have a custom style to it like each writer does. So other AI can detect this. But you can go and tell the original AI and say, hey, make this sound more human. And apparently that works, and that doesn't get detected by the second
Well,
AI.
why even do
So-
that? Why not just say, like, I was trying to write this like an AI. I wrote this with an AI in mind.
I was trying to be formal.
Yeah, I was trying
But
to
yeah, I
be
mean,
robotic.
teachers are fucked. I remember back in my day, they had some websites that was. Do you guys remember? It was very famous that teachers would use to detect if you plagiarized.
Yeah, turn it
a
in.
sentence.
Turn it in.
Turn it in, yes, thank you. But it was very primitive. You could throw it off by just, you guys know the character sheet on Windows. You could open it up and find like an ASCII character that kind of sort of looks like an A, and you could replace all of the A's in your essay with that symbol and turn it in. Couldn't detect it. It was perfect. I forged entire essays that way and handed them in to my like history teachers and shit. But now, I guess we're gonna see how it goes. It's entertaining to me.
Do you ever think about how many doctors there are out there, practicing doctors, that forged their way through college and are currently operating on people or like giving life-altering advice based off
There's
forged?
gotta be a lot.
There's a ton.
college
Maybe not that many,
experiences?
but have to be. Wasn't there a very famous one, Dr. Death? I think they called him. This guy basically kind of sort of just fucked his way through college, and then he showed up to surgeries literally high on drugs, and he like crippled multiple people that way.
You're mixing
What
the
am I
names up.
thinking of?
Dr. Death was a Kevorkian that did assisted suicides, I think.
Yeah. But there could be someone that you're describing, Kaya, but that's not where
Yeah.
the nickname was attributed.
Could be,
But-
yeah.
But you know, this is
ahead.
the kind of stuff you just gotta not think about if you want a happy life. What do you call a doctor who gets all D's in medical school?
Is this a
doctor.
joke?
Doctor.
Oh.
They qualify whether they get straight A's top of their class or whether they barely pass. They're still a doctor.
Well, do you pass on a D?
Yes.
Really?
No, you don't pass on a D. I don't know where you're getting that from. It has to
What?
at least be a C.
I thought it was a C.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to at least
Maybe
be a
for
C.
medical school, I guess, but for regular school, I know you can pass
For
with
medical
D's.
school, I think it would be slightly higher.
I
even-
would hope it'd
even
be
that.
slightly higher, but it doesn't matter. The specifics of
Yeah, I
what
get
does
what
and
you
doesn't
mean.
pass
Yeah,
doesn't
no, it
matter.
doesn't
The point
matter.
is a doctor could graduate at the top of their class with fucking accolades and everything, or they could barely pass by the skin of their teeth, like this close to failing out whatever the bar is, but they're still a doctor. They still can run a practice and be called doctor and all of that. You'd never really know unless you personally ask them.
But then they just
I mean,
lie to you.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're good at lying.
Yeah, those liars. Fucking, you guys seen
Yeah.
everything that's happened with the Pfizer vaccine all of a sudden? Jesus Christ, we're doomed.
Were we lied about that?
Yeah, and then now it's giving everyone the heebie-jeebies. So everyone's shaking all over the place everywhere.
Oh,
It's fucking
yeah.
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those memes, yeah. Well, that's a problem with the experts who would like the doctors. You can find any doctor and you can pay him to say the earth is flat, and they will do it. I mean, again, doctors said that smoking is good and a healthy way to lose weight. It's like,
Well, that's not really
It's
a
not-
doctor problem. It's not the problem with doctors. It's just the problem with the system that we live in and people in
It's
general.
I think it's a
corruption.
problem. It's a problem with people not recognizing that doctors are not infallible.
Well, yeah.
Someone
we
just says
place
the
too
experts,
much-
and you're supposed to be
yeah. Trust the experts. Believe whoever's a doctor or a scientist. if they're a scientist or a doctor, they're instantly like infallible, which I don't necessarily think is true.
I certainly don't. The main person on Twitter that keeps spreading those videos of people doing the fucking Harlem Shake with the Pfizer vaccine stuff comes from a goddamn doctor.
Well, then which doctors do we trust and which ones we don't? Because
I don't know.
None of us.
I think a good starting point is a
research.
doctor that can recognize what real tremors and seizures look like would be a really great starting
But
point.
we're not smart enough to know when they're telling the truth mostly or lying.
Oh yeah,
mostly.
no, I agree. You're right.
Like this is obviously a pretty
I
obvious
think you can be
case,
smart
I would
enough.
say.
Like, okay, but I think you are smart enough to recognize when Pfizer says, oh, you should vaccinate yourself every month, 12 times a year, and also the vaccine, we're jacking the price up to $150, and we're petitioning the government to make it mandatory to buy it from us. I think you kind of understand that there's like a profit motive there, and this isn't all about science anymore. Most people get that, but you still get attacked if you say, well, I don't trust that expert that just said that. I mean, you were literally, remember, people had their entire YouTube accounts shut down when they said that, the Wuhan virus may have come out of the Wuhan virology lab and not just spontaneously sprung into existence from a fucking bat. And now we know, turns out the conspiracy theorists were right.
Well, only in that case. And well, we don't know that for sure as well, by the way. We don't know. Because you're just listening to experts that you agree with that say that it did. That's what I'm saying. How do we know which fucking experts to trust? Because none of us do the appropriate research into the data or the surveys or the research information, whatever.
I think that's a cope. I think you don't, and you assume no one else does either.
No, I don't assume no one else does. Sure, there's got to be like one guy that's right at least. There's got to be some kind of actual truth to things. But I don't know how to determine which one's
That guy
telling the
must
truth.
be depressed.
Because no one's listening to him.
Probably not.
Because no one's believing him or trusting him, and he's always correct about everything.
But what if it wraps around and he's correct about absolutely insane shit? So he's right
Like
about the
sun
vaccines
feeding
and
you.
COVID, but then he's like, the aliens built the pyramids. I'm right about that too. I have the evidence, and he's just completely correct, and no one will
I
believe
still
him.
maintain there is now a new crop of ufology or uapology that is different from that of like 10 or to 15 years ago. I'm telling you guys, it's no longer just a bunch of hicks with half their teeth missing going, I got kidnapped by a UFO and they put stuff in my butt. It's like actual like smart people talking about this now, and I'm interested, but I'm also not like
Smart people are talking
I
about
don't wanna
stuff in
actually-
their
the
butts.
stuff in your butts, what got you? Huh?
No, it's like they analyze the government papers that they release a little bit, but it's also something that I don't want to spend that much time reading about. But the problem is, I actually reached out to 3 different people on Twitter about UFOs, and I was like, hey, what's like an easy entry into this? Like, where do I start? Because you guys just, when someone throws around a lot of terminology
Yeah, you don't
and
know where to
inside
start.
terms, and
It gets confusing.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck.
Why didn't you just ask me? I'm super deep into
101.
that shit. I check in on those communities often.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm always looking.
He
Okay,
said
so what's up?
he's always said that his dad is like
Yeah, my dad's
the
super into
master.
it,
He's
too.
basically a spaceship pilot at this point.
Okay, so does your dad... This is what I read up yesterday. So apparently the Trinity Project in 1945, the first nuclear bomb experiment, because that's significant. It was significant for our human species because we reached the atomic age, right? Our first atomic bomb, yay for us. Their theory is, one of the many theories, that UFO sightings have gone up since then because they may have been dormant vessels on Earth that are basically just meant to observe us as a primitive species until we discover atomic energy and then mobilize to observe us further from the air, I guess.
Yep. So I've never heard that. That sounds like an actual plot to Singularity on the Xbox 360. I would say like the best stuff to look at is from like the scientists, because there are a couple that do, like you said, legitimately analyze like the files that they keep releasing, like the declassified stuff. But a lot of it's like really just kind of uninteresting because it'll be like, yeah, it's not extraterrestrial. This is just something we don't really get, but it's certainly from this planet. So it's just kind of like, oh. There hasn't really been
Well,
anything.
my
with,
issue is a lot of the
that just
evidence.
means like Russian space. Not
it means
spacecraft,
legitimately
Russian,
anything.
yeah.
Any
Oh,
other
okay.
nation's technology, fucking astronaut
Yeah, that's what I
farmer
meant.
built something goofy. Like, it just means anything, but they're not ever confirming that it's like something
So
off-world.
that's always been what's been known. Like that's always been the most logical answer, right? That most people have said.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is by far the most logical, because if any alien species reached us, it'd mean they'd have faster than light travel, which right now we believe is completely impossible.
But so nothing's changed then, apart from just scientists are weighing in on it, basically.
Nope, it's just now that there's like the classified shit, people are actually looking at unidentified objects as opposed to just like, here's 3 blimps that flew in a weird formation, probably aliens. Now it's just like people looking at like, oh wow, this is a really interesting flying apparatus that we've never seen before. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's the government, it used to be, again, they would call everything a conspiracy theory. Yeah. And I guess in more recent years, the government has just openly said, yeah, but we don't know what the fuck this is. And then you have these government insiders, people who used to work for the CIA or NASA or the whatever the hell, they all coming out and saying, yeah, I used to work on these projects. They harvest crash sites for rare materials and yada yada. And the government keeps the patents and they hand them over to Lockheed Martin. My issue is, all of it is just hearsay. It's just he said, she said. In 1970, such and fuck, Bob Lazar claimed that he saw a UFO. It's like, okay, what do I give a fuck what he claimed? It's like, how much of this can you actually prove?
Corroborate. Well, that's the thing as well. Like when you think about it at this scale, like they're saying like there's whole teams going into harvest resources, and then Lockheed Martin's got like entire teams working on R&D for it or whatever. That's like so many people where it can get out from. That's why I don't personally believe that kind of stuff, is because like there's just so many points where we should have heard about it. Like actual
the amount of
evidence
people
about
who
it.
would blab, right, about the conspiracy.
Yeah. It's the same thing to me that fully debunks like the moon landing and JFK conspiracies. It's like you can't have that many people involved with such a giant scale thing over all those years and not have someone confess or something really get out,
But it's also what did I call it? We're like, not everybody has all of the information, obviously. Like the guy who pulled the trigger on JFK doesn't know that he did it for the FBI.
But you don't know that.
Of course I don't, but you don't know that I'm wrong.
Fuck.
Expert said.
Now we're gonna do this all day.
I'm always for the more entertaining option, whenever feasible and possible.
Yeah, if it's like a 50-50, go with whatever's funnier.
Exactly, thank you. And also, whenever it's 50-50, always assume that the government is evil and will just stab you in the back.
That goes for like
I don't
everything. Corporations, government, literally everything.
Everything.
Video game developers.
Everything.
Friends,
Experts.
Yeah, family.
loved ones, pets.
Don't ever leave your room.
Don't trust anyone.
Don't ever talk to anybody.
I don't know, man.
Fuck.
Gotta be
What were we
paranoid.
saying? I had an anecdote that I wanted to share, but now I've forgotten. Fuck.
Was it about your comfortable underwear?
Yeah, that's it. Comfortable underwear. Thank you. Love comfortable underwear, but I need you to tell me more about it, Andrew.
That is
Tell me about my
exactly
comfortable-
what
You're
I
the
will
expert
tell
on
you.
comfortable underwear. Please.
I know we
take it away.
just said not to trust anybody, but trust me when I say that MeUndies has an incredible Valentine's Day collection. Do you know that feeling when your crush texts you unexpectedly and you say, oh my God, she might be a government sleeper agent? What do? I don't know. I do want to see her titties though, so maybe let's see where this goes. Well, you can find out what it will feel like to have that feeling all day and all night, because you will be wearing the most comfortable underwear with a love theme to it with the V-Day MeUndies collection. MeUndies is pretty straightforward. Everyone on this podcast wears it because they've got incredibly comfortable and cute underwear. Also, if you're a lady with some sort of tits, they've got bralettes. And then for everyone, they've got loungewear. They've even got funny stuff for your pets, which you might want to check out. Available in sizes extra small to 4X. They have something for every booty to fall in love with. Oh, that's so goddamn funny. MeUndies has a great offer for everyone listening. You can get 20% off of your first order and free US shipping right to your door. Now, to get that 20% off of your first order with free US shipping and to chat with their incredible Cheek Squad about any questions or sizing concerns, you just need to go to MeUndies.com/official. It's a lovely gift. Think about it. You could get it for your mom and have a really awkward and weird conversation. Doesn't matter. But make sure to get a pair for yourself while you're there. 20% off your first order, free sizing in the US, free shipping in the US, and questions and sizing concerns with the Cheek Squad at MeUndies.com/official. So you got your new underwear. Good for you. Do you happen to have a clean shaven face? No? Well, don't expect to ever find love like that, mister. That's why you're going to need to talk about Harry's. Because Harry's razors are going to give you a fantastic shave, a great quality shave, and they're going to have form-fitting, nice, little sleek packaging to deliver everything you need straight to your door. If you go ahead and sign up with Harry's and get the Truman Shave Trial Set for just $3, it's going to get a 5-blade German-engineered razor. And if we know anything about the Germans, it's that they're incredible at reading children's kindergarten bedtime stories, so they have to make a great razor. It's going to have a weighted handle, come with also some foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. You can schedule replacement blade delivery whenever you need it for as low as $2. Their blades are made in their own factory in Germany and hold up better than ever. They say people who use it say their 8th shave is just as sharp as the first. Also, Harry's is going to offer a no-risk trial, so if you're not satisfied, well, they'll pay for it, and you don't have to worry about it. Why not give it a try? No matter how new your new you is, you're going to want to look sharp with Harry's. Get the $15 Truman Shave Trial Set for just $3 at harrys.com/official, spelled HARRYS.com/official for a $3 trial set delivered straight to your door.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a cleanly shaven neck, but not face. Don't want to be a neckbeard. But you do want to have a beard. How do you guys feel about... Wait, okay, before I steamroll everyone, do you guys have topics?
No, I'm down to hear what you got. Well, Jackson, you wanted to mention something, right, before we moved on?
Yeah, I honestly can't remember. It was very tied to whatever we were talking about at the time.
Which was aliens?
Really,
Yeah,
what
it was
made
aliens, but
this
something
episode,
specifically in the alien conversation. Look, it's fine. I'll go back and listen to the podcast after
conspiracy?
we're done, and then I'll remember. Yeah, maybe. I don't fucking know. Just go, steamrollers.
I don't know. I was going to ask, this is a few weeks old at this point, but Texas introduced a bill that would ban social media for children under 18. Feeling
good. Do it. Pull the trigger.
It says, this is according to fox4news.com, a Republican lawmaker from North Texas filed a bill aiming at keeping children off social media. Jared Peterson's HB 896 would require social media users to be 18 years old to create an account. By the way, I've also seen that in Louisiana, if you access Pornhub in Louisiana now, it mandates that you submit your government ID in order to access their porn site.
Whoa.
What if every time you access Pornhub, it was mandated that the phone takes a photo of your face and uploads it to a registry for everyone to see? Do you think that would stop
know your
people from
customer
using porn?
laws for porn? Yeah. Well, they tried to mitigate the bad PR, I guess, by saying, well, you're not submitting your ID to the porn site. Your porn site never gets your ID. Instead, you're submitting it to a third party who then keeps a record of it, and presumably one day they're going to get hacked all the same, so no fucking difference.
How does it make any difference? Also, like, you didn't tell us who the third party is or anything. We don't know anything about them.
Also,
yeah, I don't know them either, but I do know that it is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Sites get hacked all the damn time, and those guys are gonna get hacked eventually. So,
of course,
I would recommend you don't do that. Go to ExpressVPN and switch your region away from Louisiana if you want to jerk off that badly. But yeah, I'm also in favor of this bill, to ban kids off social media. I think there needs to be a healthy balance of, like, as we just talked about, I think children are already unhealthily disconnected from technology. They're too clueless. They need to learn this stuff, but also social media is a horrible way to learn it.
See, that's
Did
the
your
irony.
parents-
Really.
That's the irony. If they're that disconnected from technology, yet their lives are more and more on the internet now, you know?
Yeah,
Well, they're
it's
not
so fucking
users of
bizarre.
technology, they're consumers. There's a difference.
True.
That's a good
They
point.
don't
yeah.
actually like use their technology. They just sit
That's so
same as
deep.
us, by the way. They sit
The
there.
technology
I know,
uses
they can't
them,
get
bro.
Yeah, they sit there looking at the screen. They're not actually engaging with the technology.
They're eaters.
Yeah, we're all gluttonous pigs now.
Yeah.
By
I
that
saw the
logic,
movie
we're eating
The
content
Menu.
now.
That movie is so fucking good. The Menu.
Oh my god, is it actually time to talk about something good on this show? As
Yeah,
in, like
movies.
something that
No, we have to
about?
keep complaining about what's trending on Twitter, Jackson. That's
I'm gonna tie
99% of our
this-
show.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie this good thing into a bad thing. So the menu is
Oh.
great, but kids should not be online. Kids are fucking stupid. They're not ready for social media. They make it just
Kids
worse.
shouldn't.
This guy
Kids
gets
shouldn't
it.
be allowed to watch the menu. They're not allowed good things. They have
I mean,
to
it's an
suffer
R-rated
first.
movie.
How about
Don't let
this?
your kid watch the menu.
Oh, okay.
I'm introducing Bill HB 007. Ban kids from YouTube
Nice.
Kids. I was with my girlfriend on a train back from Amsterdam to Germany, and I was in a wagon with two separate mothers with I think a total of like 4 children, and they were all on YouTube Kids on their iPads. And all it is them on their sippy cups watching that fucking schlock.
I
And
know,
the mother's
it's so-
completely
Yeah,
clueless. She has no idea what's going on. It just makes like coin sounds, like the bling 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 ka-ching sounds, and it's just random garbage playing on the fucking iPad.
But that's
The
5 minutes
mom
a piece for that mother.
It's
I
a
know.
very common phenomenon, Kaya. I don't know
But
if
it-
it's less common where you are, but in America, I see it all the fucking time everywhere I go.
Oh,
Yeah,
God. It's,
of
it's so
course.
I mean, that's
upsetting.
fair.
And it's
It's
not
not-
just
it's
5
not a
minutes
new
a
thing.
piece, by the way, Jackson. This went on for the entire
Oh, I know.
ride
I know.
that she was on the train,
know.
which was like a 5-hour ride. It's
I
insane to
really
me.
don't. I think it's gotten worse, but I think this practice has always been in place ever since there was something to distract your kids with. Like, I remember my mum used to just drop me in front of the TV and, I just watch
that's
TV
true.
for an hour. And while the content is obviously better on TV, I would say, like, the content that I consumed back then was like SpongeBob and shit like that, so better. But still, like, the act is still the same. You're putting your kid in front of something so that something entertains them for, a certain amount of time so that you
I
can,
agree.
as a
It's
parent,
just
have
the
a break.
issue is that
But it's-
all of
it's
these
bad
companies
now.
have, they've gotten so much more efficient at addicting children and ruining their goddamn brains.
The other problem is, Jackson, that the iPad is always there and always available. So if you're a parent
So
and
are
you're sitting
TVs.
around, well, no. If you're a parent and you're sitting at home and you're in the 90s, you're not going to want to like see most of the time. You're not going to have to deal with your kid for 24 hours straight every single day. So if you're just at home doing nothing, you'll go, here, watch TV. I've got fucking shit to do or phone calls to make or whatever. But if you go out somewhere and bring your kid, you're responsible for your kid. But oftentimes now parents are just, hey, you just stick with me and watch your fucking iPad. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a digital
Yeah.
babysitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
They don't want to
it's-
take the responsibility of, if they're out with their kid throughout the day, keeping them quiet or entertained or engaged
It is just
or
a
whatever.
portable. It is just a portable television.
Exactly.
That's the only real difference.
That was not an
I
option
wouldn't even
before.
consider it a portable television. It's just a free babysitter. Like, I don't even think it's entertainment for the kids. They literally just sit there fucking mindlessly like these little brain dead drones listening to these goddamn awful sound effects on repeat. And kids,
Yeah.
like,
I
they don't
know-
even know
I
what they're
know.
looking at.
I know what you're saying, but it is entertainment for kids.
I'll tell you guys.
Any
I'll
kind
tell
of
you
bright
guys.
light is entertainment for them.
I can tell you guys a really heartwarming story about a good parent I just remembered. If we want to bring levity to this show,
Did you remember your parents or something? Like,
Aw.
surely you had.
let's talk about how great my parents. No. I was on a flight many years ago. I don't remember, but definitely well into the era of smartphones and kids having iPads and all that shit. And I sat next to this mother, and she had her daughter who was, age to be playing with like dolls and imagination and precocious and all that shit. And for the entire flight, like, she had an iPad and a laptop and all this shit, but for the entire flight, they brought dolls and a little playhouse. And for the entire flight, she just sat there going like, oh, okay, my name's Jeannie and I want to go to the salon. And the daughter would be like, hi, Jeannie, welcome. I'm going to wash your hair. And she'd go, well, I want to go over here and make this with this. Can you help me? And the daughter was like, yeah, let's do that. That'd be a lot of fun. And at one point, she like kind of started dancing the doll on my leg. And the mom was like, well, don't bother him. He's not part of the game. And I was like, no, it's fine. I don't mind. But it was,
that was
it
a
was
weird
nice.
thing to say. I think that's a weird thing to say, honestly.
Well, okay, but that's
thing
not
to say?
fair. That's like a lose-lose. Like,
What?
as a man, like, what the fuck do you say to that? Like, no, play on my
I don't think
lap,
you did
little
anything
girl.
wrong.
What did I do wrong? What the fuck are you talking about?
You're making it weird, Jackson. I
I
think
had
that's a totally
headphones
fine
on.
response.
I had headphones on, and she started tapping my leg, and I like pulled them off for a second. And her mom went, "No, don't bother him. He's not playing." And I said, "Oh no, it's fine. That's okay." Like I wasn't upset. I was telling her, "No,
Depends on the
you're
tone
not
in your
bothering me."
voice,
I'm
I
just
guess.
joking.
If you go, it's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine. If you go, it's
No.
okay.
No, okay. If I have to recreate the exact tone of my voice, I went, oh, "No, it's fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
I don't see at all what I did wrong there, but okay.
Yeah, you didn't. I didn't say you did anything
No,
wrong. I
we're
was just
fucking
joking.
around
Okay.
with you.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was just heartwarming and wholesome to see a parent actually invested in entertaining their child and giving a shit, and not just, slapping them with an iPad and then fucking around on their own.
Yeah, see,
Nice.
the problem is
It's good for imagination.
It's good for everything. It's so
it's
much
good
better.
for everything, but here's the issue. Then the mother cannot spend time on Instagram herself. She actually has to engage with the
Exactly.
kid.
It's not easy
Yeah.
being a parent in the modern age. You need to balance your TikTok dances with
Yep.
making sure your kid has access to an iPad. Like, it's not easy.
You have to make sure you went through all of your reels and all of your scrolls for the day. If you miss that day on Instagram or TikTok, you're fucked. Your life
You
is
might not
done.
get you might miss a brand deal. You might you might not be eating that week.
Oh, no.
There are so many creators in this era. Everyone is a creator. Everyone is a content producer.
Literally everyone is Jackson. Yeah.
Dude, let's go back to the cynical fucking dark pit that we dig. I think that has also shown me how uncreative most people are. The content that people pump out, man, there's just more unwatchable shit now than ever. It's impressive.
I don't
Depends,
think any of
like,
that's
you gotta-
changed. I really that I disagree with. I don't think any of that has ever changed. It's just now
no, it
you're
has.
older and you see more of it.
I think it's changed.
I think it's the entire
the bar of
landscape
entry
of how
is
we
now-
get.
The bar of
It's the
entry has
entire
been lowered,
landscape
but I think it's a
of
good
how-
thing, though.
Well, no, it's the landscape of how we get entertainment has changed entirely. Let's go back to just the 80s and 90s. The entertainment that you would get is what was approved to be at a mainstream platform like television or radio or whatever.
I thought you were comparing
early
it to other
2010s.
content online.
Oh, no. I mean in general.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
for sure. Then
But
yeah,
I still
like
think that's
you,
good. I know there's now so much garbage out there. I know that like 99 out of 100 Zoomers that just make TikTok channels. But there's like one out of them who makes a TikTok channel and he has actually good music to share. Because now it's easy to just download FL Studio and have like a, whatever, $20 keyboard and make stuff. I think that's a nice thing. The downside is, of course, we have to deal with all the other bullshit.
The
We have to
gate
try.
being opened wider just lets more talented people in, Andrew.
and it is only a net positive. Yes, you are more likely to discover not only talented people you wouldn't have found before, but also things more to your taste. If you find music and you go, oh, I want more bands like this, it's not whatever you hear on the radio and you have to pick and choose. It's I can literally do some searching and find like dozens, maybe hundreds of bands that sound exactly like that I never would have found before. But the other problem is it's promoted all the same. I'll hop on YouTube and I'll see incredible documentaries like Kevin Perjurer just put out a amazing documentary on the Disney Channel, and it currently has 3.5 million views, and it is really well researched and really well put together and a fucking enthralling ride from start to finish. It's got 3.5 million views. At the same time, a lazy, shitty, terrible fucking meme thrown together in 10 minutes will climb to 6-7 million views in the same span of time, and it'll get promoted by YouTube all the same and thrown in my face every day.
I don't even think that's not really a YouTube thing though. That's different people looking for different things.
That's
Like
the
you have to
audience.
keep in mind a lot of those people that are watching the 10-second meme are kids. They're not going to sit there and watch a
I'm aware.
really
It's
long.
But
That's
and
10 million children on trains on their iPads watching YouTube Kids.
It's
And
meaningless views.
But the problem is that when I hop on YouTube and I go, okay, algorithm, here's my subscriptions and here's what I search, show me good videos, it will promote that video to me every single day. And then when it's not a big deal. But when my feed, the first like 6 or 7 videos are unwatchable garbage, that's when it gets annoying.
I get where you're coming from, and I agree. Like, the algorithm doesn't throw up like good stuff a lot of the time, but I don't really quantify things by the amount of views they have, or I don't really assign value to a thing based on the amount of views it has. I guess, like, if
it's only sad to me if. Yeah, I agree. I also don't care about view counts, but I only get sad if I think somebody put a lot of effort into something and it is beautiful, but they cannot make a living with it. If you only get like 10,000 views, but you do make money with it because you have like a few whale patrons or something, that's a good thing. You don't have to have millions of views. If you can make your way through life, support yourself and your family, and you do something that you love and it's great art,
and you create beautiful things.
Yeah, you don't have to get as many views as whatever, Logan Paul or whoever's famous nowadays. That's okay by me. I think AI is also going to like create a dichotomy between people who just lazily copy chat GPT prompts and write entire books like that, and people who use it in interesting ways to like, I don't know, I'm sure Pixar at some point is going to take a lot of people with a lot of talent and use AI to make an entirely AI generated movie. Or video game.
I mean, I also agree with that point. You know, view counts aren't the defining important factor to these creations, but there is an angle to it that is important. For example, business. You know, you're far more likely to get funds for bigger projects if your video is seen. You're far more likely to have more support, et cetera, et cetera. It's definitely not the only thing, but it's something to consider, especially in fucking the modern era with social media, where everything for a lot of people is revolved around view counts, where, you know, the entire model is around viewership.
So Charlie kind of touched on this, though. I don't think this is a solvable issue, because I think even if the Kevin Perjurer documentary, which is, I watched it as well, it was fantastic, even if that was heavily promoted by YouTube, like constantly, it's so niche and targeted,
probably still
and
would
long
end up in the
that
same view category.
I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have exceeded all the other popular viral videos, for example. So I don't think it's a solvable issue when it's on an audience level.
No, I agree. It's just kind of how things are. I'm not saying like, oh, well, here's what we need to do to fix it. And there's really no way to fix or change that at all. It's just still at the same time annoying, you know? Yeah. It is what it is, but I can still complain. There you go.
And that's the thing. We can always still complain. Am I right, boys?
Yeah, let's complain. New topic to complain about. Here we go.
Wasn't this came from the menu, which was meant to be a good thing?
Oh, I don't think it came from the menu. I just kind of tacked that onto an already negative thing. That movie slaps.
Yeah, I haven't
Complaining
watched it.
can be
I'm sure it's
entertaining.
good.
Complaining
is all we fucking do, though.
Ooh, Charlie, do you want to take a bit to complain about Plane?
Well, do you want to know something to really complain about besides the movie being stinky? You'll probably see it in the Patreon chat. People love that movie, Andrew.
What?
I got grilled for not liking it. Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding? That was the most boring goddamn movie ever made.
Look at the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like a 92%.
What?
Yep.
Which movie?
It's called Plane. It's a fucking stinker.
Holy shit! No way.
Yep.
What's it about?
It's about a fucking plane going down, and they land on this like remote island that's controlled by terrorists, and then they have to like get off. It's so fucking stupid. It'd be really entertaining, like if there was like action and stuff that happens, but there's like not even that. It's not even really a fucking action movie. It's a nothing movie.
76% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94% audience score with over 1,000 reviews. What the fuck is wrong with you people? That movie's horrendous.
That's what I fucking said.
Oh my god. It is the most nothing, plain, flat, uninteresting action movie of the last year. Holy shit.
It's hardly even a goddamn action movie because they cut away from the action.
I know.
Even the poster is so tedious. It's all like
terrible
drab and brown.
Oh god, it has really, really stupid plot decisions from top to bottom. The entire first third of the movie is watching Gerard Butler fly a plane in real time. Oh god, it's so bad.
Did this just come out?
We watched it in theaters. Yeah.
So why is it called plane if the doesn't even sound like the plane portion is important?
It is. So like God, I can't believe I'm gonna fucking explain the plot again. Gerard Butler's a pilot. He used to be like a hotshot pilot who would fly glamorous routes like over Paris, but then a rowdy customer said mean things and he said, "Hey man, what's going on?" The customer pushed him, so Gerard Butler punches him and then fucking chokes him out. So he got
in the plane?
In the plane. And
as a pilot?
Yeah.
So
as a commercial pilot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the air marshal would arrest the pilot. You can't just like punch someone.
Well, wait, who's gonna land the plane then?
The pilot does a lot of stupid things in this movie, Kaya. Don't you worry.
Kaya, I haven't even begun to touch on the shit he does as a fucking pilot.
Yeah.
But so anyway, after getting like shit canned to do shittier routes, he's now like I think it's Singapore. So now he does like only Singapore routes, which are like not the big routes anymore. But one day, he's flying his plane home, and he's like, "Wow, there's a really intense weather storm up ahead. You know, why don't we take this route and go around it?" But then the head honcho corporate suit, he's like, "Nope, you're going right through it." And he's like, "Well, I mean, if you say so." So they go while they're going right through it. They get hit with a lightning strike, and the plane, they lose all power. It starts to get all cattywampus. And I shit you not, while this is happening and while they're like losing control, Gerard Butler gives it to his co-pilot. He's like, "Here, take the wheel. I'm gonna go calm everyone down." So as this thing is fucking crashing, he's like, "Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're still in the air, and it's gonna start looking up soon." And then it gets worse. Obviously, he hits his head on an overhead compartment. And then there's nothing they can do to stop the plane from crashing, but there's also a criminal on the flight. So the criminal and his handler are, getting thrown around. The handler dies because he hits the ceiling.
But why does he hit the ceiling, Charlie?
Oh, because he was sending a text message to someone he loved, and he dropped his phone while this thing was crashing, so he unbuckles his seatbelt to go chase his phone around the plane.
And why does the stewardess get killed, Charlie?
Because she unbuckles her seatbelt to try and get the handler back in his seat to put his seatbelt on.
While they're mid-crash. While they're crashing.
And they both hit the top of the plane, the little roof, and they die instantly. They both snap their necks.
Kill you?
By the way, I would like to point out that a lightning strike would not take down an airplane.
Yeah.
They're designed to get struck by lightning.
They're designed, yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit in this movie. It's so preposterously dumb.
Shittier version of Flight with
it is
Washington.
That wasn't Denzel Washington. That was Dennis Quaid. It is a that's Flight of the Phoenix. Actually, my bad. But yeah, it is a much shittier version. Yeah, I don't know Flight, but it's a shittier version of an older movie called Flight of the Phoenix, where what happens there is they're flying over the desert, they lose control, it crashes. And then they crash right next to like a camp of bad guys who starts to like raid them. That's exactly what happens here, but without any of like the suspense or interest that Flight of the Phoenix had. So they crash on this place. It's a controlled fall. They land in the.
So
I remember that
Gerard
movie.
Butler,
it had Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, it has Hugh Laurie.
Yeah. So Gerard Butler is a strength leading man, right? He is when he is the middleman on a screen. What? Jackson?
Just action man. He's an action man.
Yeah, he's an action man. So when he is leading a movie, he's like got muscles and he's like, I'm gonna kick this guy's ass and I'm doing it for my family. Like he's like a Rock type, that kind of guy. Not like a dramatic actor, not a suave romance guy, whatever, but a very, very big hulking man. Gerard Butler has one fight scene in the movie against one guy and spends the rest of the entire movie just like calmly talking to people and trying to fix the plane. All the action is done by his supporting guy, the prisoner who's being extradited, and like the terrorists and a cell of PMCs that they hire to rescue the plane passengers.
So they also threw in a really lame Con Air ripoff?
Kinda?
Not really, but kinda.
But Gerard Butler spends 90% of the movie just going, all right, everyone, calm down. I'm here to get you out. Don't worry, stick with me. But he does nothing interesting or exciting. It's all the other characters. And speaking of the other characters, the passengers on the plane exist just to be taken hostage. They have no development, no backstory, nothing. They even go through the trouble of giving them all like names and having like little character moments, but all it ends up with is they're just like sheep. They just get herded around the entire movie with no free will or opinions whatsoever.
God, Gerard Butler's one fight scene in this movie is so fucking stupid, though. So after they crash, they're like, all right, we got to find out where we are because we don't know where we crashed. So I'm going to go into the forest and look for a telephone. So he's like, and the prisoner's coming with me. He volunteered. So he takes the prisoner to get him away from the rest of the people. Eventually, the two of them split up, and Gerard Butler finds like this old dilapidated building and this fucking phone that I swear to God looks like the first phone ever made. It's covered in like overgrowth, moss, and everything. So he looks to the left of it, and there's these two wires, and he's like, "Oh, I see." So he takes the two wires and touches them together, and then he gets a dial tone somehow. So he calls the United States Embassy. And he's like, stop prank calling us. We've been getting prank calls about this fucking pilot all day. So they hang up on him. He's like, God, I'm gonna have to do it again. So he takes the wires, he puts the wires together, and he calls his daughter. And while he's on the phone with his daughter, one of the terrorists that own the island come in, starts beating his ass. And in the struggle, Gerard Butler, for some reason, grabs the phone off the wall, rips it down, and throws it on the floor. He doesn't even use it as a weapon.
Yep.
It's so good.
Oh, man. One of my favorite things to show that they had no understanding of character development or audience emotion whatsoever. So there's a handful of passengers, and they all have, like, sort of different personalities. They're really poorly written, but they're kind of there. So there's two specific passengers. One of them is a dick. He's like a germaphobe, and he's like really snarky and rude to people. Like when he's on the flight, he's very obsessively wiping his scene down with a clean wipe. And when the waitress comes over, she goes, "Can I offer you a drink?" And he goes, "Yes, but I want exactly 3 ice cubes, please. Exactly 3. And she goes, "Are you sure I can give you more? I can give you like 5. And he goes, "No, I want exactly 3. Give me what I want." And he's like very like condescending and rude and just not a nice guy. Meanwhile, there's another passenger on the plane. He's just a dude. He's just a regular guy. And he's got a phone, obviously. And when they first crash and are waiting at the camp that they set up, he films everything. And they go, "Why are you fucking filming stuff? Like, what's the point of Instagram?" And he goes, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm filming it to document it. You know, planes go down and shit like this happens. And if no one sees the recording, it never happened. And they can't explain it. So I'm like documenting us and filming us and making sure that like our story gets out there," which is a fairly smart thing to do. So later in the movie, at the very end, when all the passengers are being rescued, guess who gets shot? The really nice guy. They're trying to get on the plane and they're escaping, and the really nice guy that we kind of like takes a stray bullet, and
but
he's
it
like
also doesn't
bleeding
matter.
out.
It doesn't matter though. He gets shot and they forget that it happens. So
Yeah.
that's the only time you see him. He gets shot and you don't even know who gets shot because they're both bald. They're both bald and they're both like from a distance going up this goddamn fucking ladder back to the point. Andrew has left out so many crucial details and is focusing on the worst parts because everything is so stupid. Like
Wait. But you, Andrew, can we just briefly go back to that? Andrew,
Yeah.
you said that like he's the only character you like.
So
the
when you're
audience
writing
likes.
When you're writing for audience emotions, you need to understand how they connect to characters. The bad characters should rightfully get punished. That's a sense of satisfaction. Whereas if bad things happen to good characters, it's a sense of despair. For example, a well-written show like
but that's
Breaking
what they
Bad.
want you to feel, right? That's what they're trying to make you feel.
God damn it!
No,
Andrew's
no,
giving this
Jackson.
dude too much credit.
That's the triumphant moment where they're trying to escape.
Oh
And
yeah,
like that
okay.
guy gets shot and you don't feel like, oh, fuck, that sucks. Like he did not deserve it. And it's not a
I didn't even know who it was.
Like,
They're both bald, and he gets shot from a distance, and it sounds like it hits the metal next to him, but then he crumples over, and I didn't know who the fuck it was. And they don't even they literally don't even look at him again. I didn't know it was the nice guy until Andrew said it was.
By the way, what you call
so stupid.
was this like a sad ending?
No,
No,
it was
it's
super
a good
fucking
ending.
happy. God damn,
it's a super happy ending. That's why it's weird that the happy nice
Well,
guy
yeah,
gets shot
that's
for
a-
no reason.
That's
Okay.
Yeah. So what I was trying to explain is if you have bad things happen to good people in movies, it gives the audience a sense of despair. If you have a good written show like Breaking Bad, they do that to make you feel like a character's an asshole. Walter White poisons a child who is innocent, and then you go, Walter White's a bad person. He deserves bad shit to happen. But in this movie, one of the characters we're supposed to like, who's like really friendly, just gets shot, and you go, well, what the fuck? Why'd he get shot? That just sucks. That's not good. When it's during the triumphant, like, oh, they're gonna make it ending. It's so stupid.
But then the triumphant ending has consequences, right?
No, because they don't even show the guy who's a dick never gets shot or anything. He just walks off the plane and goes home.
And the guy who does get shot, they don't even show. The only reason that I think Andrew even recognized who it was is because there's a panning shot and you can see him going, oof, ouch, while he's in the plane and they're taking off again.
He's like bleeding out in the plane, but he's the nice guy, and yet the guy who's a dick has nothing bad happen to him whatsoever. Also, there's a guy who gets on the plane in the very beginning, and he's like this like college frat boy, and one of the passengers goes, oh, how'd you be able to afford this flight? And he goes, oh, I got frequent flyer miles, bro. And he's like supposed to be this like, you know, carefree like dude bro, and his only thing in the movie that he does is they rescue them from a prison. And Gerard Butler puts him on a bus and he goes, can you drive this thing? And he goes, yeah, man, I can drive anything. And that's it. That's all he does in the whole movie. It means nothing.
Are the women there to be hot? Is it like a hot?
No, not even.
You don't see any of these fucking passengers, Jackson. You don't see any of them ever. It's so stupid. It's everything about that movie is actually terrible, even from an action movie perspective, because they don't show the action. So every piece of action, like you'll see the prisoner like shoot at somebody and then they fall from a distance. You don't see anything. There's one scene of action where one of the PMC, Jesus Christ, the PMCs come to try and rescue these people, and there's 4 of them. It's like the goddamn Navy SEALs, and it's against an entire island, and yet somehow all 4 of them kill the entire island's terrorists. But regardless, one of them has a 50 cal, so he starts shooting some of the terrorists through their cars, and you see them like fly back and hit the car. That's the only time they actually show any of the action. Even the final triumphant moment where Gerard Butler's like, all right, we're getting back on the plane, and I'm flying us the fuck out of here. So as he's taking off, the main leader's name's Datu. He's got an RPG out on the back of a truck on the runway. And Gerard Butler and him are having a stare off as he's like flying the plane towards him. And then as he's taking off, the implication is that he hits him with the plane, but they don't show you. Instead they cop out and just show the plane hitting a car. So it's just, they don't even bother showing the action. It's just a terrible fucking action movie too.
Now let's whip around and blame the audience, because Charlie, when we saw this movie, quite a few fun things happened. Number 1, a woman in the front row was FaceTiming the first like fourth of the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
With someone she was on the phone with, just literally just showing her the movie over the phone on FaceTime. I was shocked that she put it away. Number 2, there was a group of I don't know, some people in like the back right corner of us towards the back, and they were just talking basically the whole movie. They were just having conversation. They didn't care. But when that 50 caliber scene, what?
I was asking, can you blame them?
Oh, no. I can't. Yeah. But here's the fun thing. When the action started for that scene with the 50 cal, that was when they were shooting them through cars, and every time a guy got hit with a 50 caliber bullet, he'd go flying, you know, like, which I guess more realistic. So, you know, normal guys in the movie, if they get shot or whatever, it cuts away or it looks like shit. But the guys who got shot with a 50 cal, they'd go flying and the car would explode and it'd be kind of satisfying. Every time that happened, that group would go, oh, hey, throughout the theater. So you could tell that the people watching this movie were not here to watch a movie. They were just here to fuck around and just like waste time and not get invested. They just wanted to go, let's just go see a movie, haha. So I think that's why people are rating it highly. They didn't actually watch the movie. They just went with a gang of friends to fuck around.
That has to be the case, because it is fucking terrible in every possible department.
Yeah.
No, because do you really imagine that group of people went home and logged into Rotten Tomatoes with their accounts? And gave 5 stars?
That's so true, actually. Good point.
I don't know. Oh, man.
How many people do you know who even have
movie.
a Rotten Tomatoes account? At this point, it all has to be AstroTurfed movie studio bot farms.
God, I love that
Also-
image though. Like after celebrating the 50 cal, it's like, all right, guys, now log into your Rotten Tomatoes account. Let's show good manners here and give them a high review for the entertainment we experienced.
Also, the movie at a certain point loses any and all stakes. As soon as the PMC shows up, there are no stakes for the entire rest of the movie. So
yeah,
the PMC shows up and they rescue everybody, no sweat. They don't get shot, nothing happens. They take out the pirates without even trying. And then they all run away. And then like the pirates get reinforcements. And so the PMC set up for like a defense while everyone gets on the plane to fly back home. And the guy with the 50 cal's there and he's like blasting dudes. And you think, okay, that 50 cal guy is overpowered. He is like their crux, their fucking ace in the hole. Something's got to happen. He's got to run out of ammo. He's got to get shot, something. Nothing. They just sit there and willy-nilly pick off pirates until everyone takes their sweet time and flies away. And that's the last half of the movie. Also, Gerard Butler fixes the landing gear on the plane because he's like, without landing gear, we're fucked. We can't fly home, which is funny because in the final scene of the movie, they fly home without landing gear. But he fixes it. Like, he's like on the runway while they're being shot at. He's trying to fix it. And he gets shot in the shoulder. And at the end of the movie, they land at a safe... Yeah?
They say you can't land without landing gear?
Yeah, that's one of the points they bring up.
Has
so
he
while
not
they're
heard
being
about
shot
the
at...
Hudson River landing?
No, I guess not. Because while they're being shot at, he desperately stands outside of the plane trying to fix the landing gear while everyone else is on board and ready to go. But he gets shot in the shoulder and they take off and they land the plane in a safe airport and everyone else gets off the plane. They unfurl the like little jump slide and they slide down and like the medical people are escorted off. But Gerard Butler, who is currently bleeding out from a bullet in the shoulder, tells everyone...
And his leg, he got shot. So when he was fixing the brakes, he took a shot to the leg and then continued running to the plane. And then when he was having his stare down with Datu, he gets shot in the shoulder.
Yep, he gets shot multiple times. He is bleeding out. He has been rescuing and running around the island all day. He just tells everyone, you guys go on ahead. I need a minute. You all go, it's fine. Tend to your families, go get attention, I'll be there. And you think he's gonna die on the plane. He's gonna have like this heroic, like, well, I did it. Time to finally die. But nope, he just kind of awkwardly sits there for 3 minutes and then gets up and walks off the plane for no reason.
It's such a stinker. It's such
so
a fucking
terrible.
stinker. It'd just be like a forgettably bad movie because it's not like entertainingly shit. It's just really just kind of super shit. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't care as much if people just didn't for some reason like it. That just makes me upset. The fact that anyone liked it really is just offensive to me.
Yep. I thought after walking out of that theater we were never going to talk about this movie again.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too.
That's what I thought.
I mean,
after
the scores are like 7 out of 10 average. I mean, that's somewhat high.
Not on
but it's
Rotten
still like,
Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's 94
it's actually,
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 94% audience score, by the way, where usually with a bad movie, it's the other way around. You know, the critics are all like, oh, this is the best movie ever. And then the audience goes, no, 0%. But this time it's the other way around. It's interesting.
It was just so bad.
So
There's
is it
just
fun bad or
actually
just
nothing to like.
bad?
No,
No,
it
just
was
bad,
boring bad.
Yeah,
Very boring bad.
It's very bad as an action movie. It's very bad as a suspenseful movie. It's just very bad as an experience. Like Andrew said, I thought this was going to be something that we talk about on the way home and then never talk about again. Because it's not like Moonfall where there's like so much to like about it being bad. This is legitimately nothing to have any amount of fun. It's just terrible.
The
Here's
only
what it
scene
is.
in the
I'll
movie...
tell you what it is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
93% of the people that like this are definitely like people in their 40s or 50s because this is the type of movie that my parents would love to watch, I think.
Oh,
my dad
man.
I guess. I have a hard time believing that, though.
The only scene in the movie that was any enjoyable was they're sneaking into the pirate camp to get the passengers out of a prison. And one of the guys, the prisoner dude who's being extradited, finds a sledgehammer. And he just starts like caving pirate skulls in left and right while they're like trying to sneak in.
Which would be cool if they fucking showed it, but they show
don't.
one hit and he gets hit with a sledgehammer and his nose bleeds and he just dies. The
and
other
they
one
don't show it.
Yeah, the other one he hits him off camera and then he's presumably on the floor. So then they pan the camera up to the sledgehammer coming down and a noise going.
Yep.
They don't show anything.
And it could have been this nice moment of character writing and levity, because there's this like dark, serious, horrible tone and all this shit. But the pilot and the extradited prisoner are bonding, and the whole point is the prisoner's not afraid to like kill people and get his hands dirty and shoot. And the pilot's like, yeah, I mean, I used to be in the fucking army and I could do this. Like, I'll follow you. But it shows this contrast of the prisoner's like a brutal motherfucker. Like, he's not afraid to explode a man's skull with a sledgehammer. But no, it just kind of happens and they just move on. Nothing really comes from that. It's just a goofy little scene.
I mean, I get that, like, we're critiquing the writing and stuff. We're really like nitpicking the quality of the movie or whatever. But like, this seems like the kind of movie that would have the kind of dialogue that it has, or the kind of writing that it has. It seems like shit that they just shout out, basically.
It doesn't really have writing. Like they don't even really speak to each other. Gerard Butler's like, or not Gerard Butler. The prisoner's like, okay, you're gonna take the guy on the left, I'll take the guy on the right. Gerard Butler's like, oh god, okay, and then he does it. He's like, oh god, okay. So then they go and like rescue the like they don't really talk. It's just Gerard Butler going.
Yeah, it's funny. They should have swapped the leading roles. Gerard Butler should have been the prisoner, because the prisoner is the badass of the movie. Yeah. He kills people. He gets his hands dirty. He gets in there. He's like fucking shooting left and right. He's having a great time. But Gerard Butler is like a fucking pussy half the movie. Like,
he's a fucking airline pilot.
But he says early in the movie he flew for the Air Force. So he's in the
that doesn't
army.
mean he's the Air Force pilots aren't on the ground like punching people and shit.
Even still, it doesn't fucking matter.
But he's in the plane punching people.
True.
Okay, I've been taking notes. So here, according to what I've heard so far, here are better movies that I would recommend: 50 caliber gun, Rambo 4. You have to make sure that you seek out the uncensored version. It's a lot of fun.
It's
and
a good
also
movie.
Just the good guy clearing out an entire island full of bad guys. That's also what the movie is good for. As far as plane crashes go, Flight with Denzel Washington and Flight of the Phoenix. Both are good for plane crash movies. And Con Air, if you want to watch prisoners on a plane, and it's goofily entertaining.
If you want to watch the reverse, Die Hard 2. About a plane being fucking fucked with, and an airport and all that shit, and a guy having to stop a bunch of terrorists by sneaking through it. Die Hard 2. It's a great movie for that.
Or if you want a movie just based around planes in general, I recommend Airplane. Good comedy.
Oh yeah, if you want to laugh about airplanes, yeah. There's a lot of better movies, is what we're saying.
What you've never heard of Airplane? What?
Kai, we've talked about Airplane. No, Leslie Nielsen.
What?
Leslie Nielsen comedy from the 70s.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah.
It's like one of the most prolific comedies of all time.
Yeah. You know
that's
Airplane.
Fair. I may have to refresh my memory, but yeah, I haven't watched this since I was a teenager.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's held up perfectly. It's still hilarious. Same with the sequel. It's also good. Airplane 2.
See, that was a positive note. We
made it a positive note at the end, but it was like 20 minutes of ranting about a shitty movie first.
Well, you gotta have your vegetables before you get the dessert. That's what I've always said.
Honestly, I'd rather watch Snakes on a Plane than this. Like, at least that movie's goofy bad, but like this was just so boring.
It was just so offensive. The fact that anyone likes it actually makes me super, super upset. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree. Completely agree.
I just don't know what you guys were expecting from a movie called Planes.
No, we showed it to be bad. We went because it was supposed to be bad.
Charlie and I have seen many bad movies that have great entertainment. And in fact, Gerard Butler was in Gods of Egypt, which is one of our favorite bad movies ever made. So we went in with the implication, okay, it's a bad action movie with Gerard Butler. It's got to be entertaining. But this wasn't even entertaining. It was just boring. It was just nothing. Nothing happened.
Like, when you see Gerard Butler in a January movie, like, you go in there expecting it to be fun bad. Like, he was recently in Geostorm, Gods of Egypt. Like, he makes absolute banging stinkers. But this was just a stinky stinker. Like, there's nothing to like about it.
Has he ever been in a good movie?
300.
Come on, that's like 25 years ago. And I don't even think that's a
It is a good movie. I don't know how you're going to try and say that.
He is the narrator. He's the narrator of the Curse of the Black Freighter segments in Watchmen, and those are fucking excellent. There you go.
He's a narrator. That's like
He's still in
Yeah,
it. He's still
he's not-
voice acting.
Aren't those the cartoon intermissions?
Yes. And they're really
Yeah,
good.
he's not an actor in that. That's just what?
Voice actors are actors.
Well,
Hey,
they are
there's a-
actors, yeah.
Okay, technically you win, I guess, but
yeah, gotcha. Fuck you.
The movie wasn't like he's not the leading role or anything, you know. He's
No,
not
he's
like the
not.
main thrust of the movie.
okay, but that's like if I said Keanu Reeves is a great actor because he played part in that one Silk Road Bitcoin documentary as a narrator. Like that's not why I watch Keanu Reeves. I watch him because he's John Wick.
I get that, but the Curse of the Black Freighter stuff is more acting. He's playing a character when he narrates, so
Did he still have his like Irish accent?
he does have an accent. I think. I don't remember. I think he does.
It's Scottish, I think, actually, not Irish.
Yeah. They're really good though. They're arguably the best part of that movie.
Fair enough.
Oh well. Yeah.
He's in How to Train Your Dragon.
Is
Some
he?
of that other voice acting stuff. Yeah, I don't remember
those
which
are
role.
great
but
movies.
He's good
aren't
in
they?
movies where he doesn't appear and he only talks.
But he's famous for appearing. Like he's famous because of his body and shit.
He was famous
makes
because of
sense.
24.
Did you guys
What?
like Law Abiding Citizen? He was in that.
I don't.
I know
I've
the
watched
movie. I
that.
don't remember it though.
That's the
don't
one
know
where,
what that
like,
is.
I think it's him. It's either him or Jamie Foxx, whoever plays the criminal, but they're stuck in jail and somehow they keep committing these assassinations from in jail with all these, like, wraparound plots and they can't prove that he did it.
Well, that sounds cool.
It's a cool movie. It's interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, is anyone keeping up with The Last of Us? It's so nice to have a TV show, video game adaptation that actually takes the source material seriously, and it's so
Yeah,
fucking
I heard it's
good.
decent.
It's so good.
I haven't seen
What
the
a
second
surprise.
episode yet.
Nice to hear.
but- yeah, the first
is-
episode is amazing.
It is extremely surprising how faithful they have been and how well it turned out. It's a nice feel. It's like vindication, because this is what we've been saying all along. These video game adaptations need to stop shitting on the source material and start treating it with respect, because that's what made it popular in the first place. That's why it's getting a fucking adaptation.
Is
and-
it just 1-to-1 with the game?
I'd say they've taken some liberties, obviously,
Okay.
because some things just don't work on screen. But by
Right.
and large, everything is like really faithful. Like direct lines are taken from the game, direct
So there-
settings, direct.
There are
character
no
interactions,
QuickTime
etc.
events in the show.
Not yet.
Press select on your remote to keep watching.
It's the good kind of adaptation where they've expanded on the source material as well and added additional context and additional scenes to things that we experienced in the game. Like in the second episode, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the entire first like 20 minutes is something entirely new that really grounds the series and really expands on it in an interesting way. I don't know. I don't really want to get into spoilers though, in case anyone hasn't watched it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
So with that, then, would you say if someone's played the games and their attitude is, oh, I've played the games and know what happens, I don't really care, is there enough to the show
No,
to
absolutely,
want to watch
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
They
The
add
show
a-
is for you.
They actually added a lot, especially in the beginning, to like flesh out Sarah's character. It's
Yeah.
all like really good additions that they've put in
It
so
really
far.
is. Really smart additions to it. And it's not cheap or lazy. Like there's actual substantial quality to this. And it's I want to put it down to the filmmaker in this case, Craig. I think his name's Craig Mazin. He's the guy that did the Chernobyl miniseries, which was also fantastic. That HBO Chernobyl one. What, did you not like it, Kaya?
No, I liked it. I hate it for the sole reason that it's reinvigorated the superstition against
Yeah,
nuclear
no,
energy.
I get
That's
that,
my
but it
only
was a
issue
good.
with it. It was a good show, yes.
It was a good series, yeah. So he's clearly talented at adapting things, and this show is just fantastic. I wanted to end this episode on a positive note. So Charlie, you've seen it though,
Not the second episode. The first episode's amazing though.
and yeah, but you agree. Okay, I just
Yeah,
wanted to hear
yeah.
some thoughts.
Yeah, Andrew and I played The Last of Us together the first time
We
around.
did.
The intro was so fucking iconic. Still probably one of the best in all
Still
of gaming.
is, yeah.
You should absolutely watch the
um,
show, Andrew. I actually think they do it just as well.
I probably will. Honestly, I enjoyed the first Last of Us so much. I remember that was a game that I showed my dad. and he was like, holy shit, it's like a movie. So I would just play it and he would just watch it like a movie, and he loved it too. It's a really great story. So I might watch this.
Not to split the room, but I enjoyed both. Even the second one, because in the second one there's that one area where you're playing as Abby. Was that her name?
Yeah.
And you're like Mike Tyson boxing zombies. That was a lot of fun.
There's reasons to like the second one for different reasons. Yeah.
It was like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It was like awesome.
With their big bulky arms the size of fucking boulders.
I'll split the room even further. This is the more controversial opinion, I think. I loved both games, and I loved the second game because of its narrative as well. I really enjoyed the narrative in the second game, and I know that is extremely
it's okay to just be off the mark sometimes, though. You're 1 for 2.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
The second one was okay too. I might watch this show.
I think it attempted something. It attempted something for the second one, Jackson. I'll give you that. Like, I appreciate that they tried something really, really different, but I
have maintained since this game's release that they had good ideas in the wrong order. I feel like if they had just done this same series of events but in a different order, it would have been much, much, much better.
I could see that.
My only issue was it just dragged a little bit too long. I want to say the final third maybe dragged on a bit too long, and maybe in terms of pacing. Some of those decisions didn't quite nail it, but overall I still enjoyed the narrative a lot.
Let's if we want to The Last of Us 2 get into a bit of spoilers, because Charlie, I'm curious. So spoiler warning if you care about The Last of Us and Last of Us 2, even though we had like 6 episodes dissecting it. Charlie, would you say a better choice would be to start The Last of Us 2 as Abby and get all of her character growth, and then we get to the Joel execution and it shows kind of sympathy for Abby and it has more weight to that rather than just hitting you with that and then going, by the way, now play as Abby?
Yep. So I think the order of events could have been one of 2 ways. Starting with Abby, I think also would have been strong. The way I always envisioned it being best is you give like that, the rodeo, like the gang's back together. So you have Joel, you have Ellie. You see their current life. You have the flashbacks of where things have been, like going through like the old zoo, aquarium, all whatever. Like you build their relationship back up again to get everything accustomed. Then you can still have Abby come in and do that, but I still think it'd be better to build to it. So then you have the Abby parts. So then you get to see like, oh, here's what life is like outside of like this really cozy camp that they formed in this community.
Then just killing him off 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it's just so much, as opposed to just like a cold kill off like at the very beginning.
I was fine with that. Yeah. It was a strong opening, and then
what makes it a strong opening?
It's just like I don't think the flashback should have been at the start. That the flashbacks throughout the story.
No, they wouldn't be flashbacks at that point. They wouldn't be. Like in my version, it wouldn't be flashbacks. You would just go through those things quickly, and then you get to the current day.
Okay, but the flashbacks throughout the story really serve to drive home Ellie's emotional turmoil or her motivation. So that's why I think they're placed throughout the game. They're kind of to remind the audience, hey, they had a strong relationship. Ellie loved this guy, and that's why.
Yeah, but by the point those fucking flashbacks come in, you probably already forgotten who the fuck Joel is. It happens in like the first 10 minutes. Like,
well, that's why they're there to remind you, why you should care about this.
And that's just dumb. Like that death should have been far more like impactful. Like it shouldn't have just come as like this cold open.
I mean, for new players, I can get why it wouldn't be impactful, maybe, but like I think it was very impactful.
The way that I think they could have done it that would have been interesting and kept the impact on this is if you bounce back and forth between the two in a better way. So let's say you start The Last of Us 2 and you're playing as Ellie and you have like I don't know, current day or flashback scene up to them and you play for a bit and then it cuts to Abby after only a scene or two and you go, oh, it's a new character. We're seeing another perspective. This is like, how are they going to meet? What's going to happen? So you play through Abby's story a little bit, then you go back to Ellie, then you go back to Abby, and then the shocking twist is you're playing as Abby and you find out she was the daughter of the doctor and you get to the scene where she kills Joel and now you're conflicted because you're like, well, I was playing as Ellie and I got more of The Last of Us, but I was also playing as Abby and I liked her sequences and it showed like a different perspective and I didn't know she was going to turn out to be a bad guy. Oh, fuck. And I think that'd be interesting.
now you hate someone that you liked initially. I feel
Or
like
as opposed to hating someone
That's
off
way
the
more
beginning,
interesting.
and then
hating
playing-
someone and then learning to over time.
But you don't. I don't think there was
understand.
ever a moment where it's like, oh, okay, well, this feels good. Like, I don't
Yeah.
see.
I
there
I feel
being
like front loading the understanding of her character and her motivation kind of long term does a disservice to it, because the way it's laid out currently is she does the bad thing first, and then you spend an amount of time dissecting why she did that and understanding her motivation, and that's where it leaves off towards the ending, where the what do you call it, the fight between them happens or whatever. So I think you need to have that understanding later in the game, personally.
I kind of get that. I get what you're saying
like,
and
as
how
an
that can be
idea, yeah.
effective, but I think it would have more weight if you didn't. So I think the problem with that is that it takes away from the buildup of Joel and Ellie from the previous game. If you gave them a bit of both, so that bouncing back and forth with Ellie and Abby, so you're feeling the nostalgia, you're feeling the buildup from the previous game, you're like living in the conclusion, but you're also getting a new story, a new buildup, someone new to connect to. I think then when Joel gets killed, if you put that more towards like the climax of the game, the late middle, it would have a lot more impact, because then it throws everything on its head. Like, oh god, I built all that stuff up with Ellie and now it's gone, and oh shit, I grew to like Abby and now that's fucked and I don't know what to do. Oh fuck, what do I feel?
I think that's a much stronger stance, because like even just looking in the chat,
disagree.
no one liked playing as Abby after they killed Joel. Nobody.
Yeah.
It was miserable, and you
did.
spend 11 hours or so playing as Abby.
Kaya, you were playing a fucking arcade game when you played
I
this.
get that emotion.
Fair.
I get that emotion, but I enjoyed playing as Abby because I got to expand on her character. I enjoyed
But
seeing
why?
her character.
But why? Okay, for you maybe, I guess it's like, oh, okay, well, why did she do that? For most players, it's like, I don't really care why she did that. It's like I didn't know anything about her. She just came in as this boogeyman and killed a character that I loved. I
you
don't
were
really
meant to-
want to play as her.
Yeah, but you're meant to engage with the narrative and dig deeper. That's the point of these narrative games. You're meant to understand the characters.
Yeah, and you could understand them from the beginning, and then even sympathize with her decision and when she makes it.
There's no. Yeah, but we're talking about an entirely different story then. If the killing happens towards the end or the middle of the end.
Yeah, like towards the middle. If you just placed all of the same beats in different orders, it'd be much more effective. I think the way Andrew described it sounds like a much more compelling narrative, where you're seeing.
You're just talking about a more linear order. Well, but
That's not linear at all. That bounces back and forth between times and characters.
and
then they
linear
come
in terms
together
of
at the
events,
end.
though. You're talking about putting the more of the like flashbacks towards the start, so you build up the relationship
You
between
need
Ellie and Joel.
just get off the flashback thing. Just sideline that in your brain, even without
But
this.
you're saying more time with Ellie and Joel.
Yeah, and with Abby, so that way you can see what Abby's doing and get a whole new perspective on life outside of this comfy camp that Ellie and Joel are in now.
The way that I see it, Jackson, is you could build up a rapport with Abby, because you could have an air of mystery. We
Yeah.
know what Ellie and Joel are all about. The first game was their entire story. So
yeah, that's
their
why I don't think we
part,
need anything there.
yeah, but their part is going to be more of a continuation of that. You have their established things, their flashbacks, their relationship. You get another instance of what you get in the first game with Sarah, where you go, oh, now look, Ellie and Joel are building that kind of actual father-daughter relationship. Like we got bits of that in the first game and we built up to it, but now we get to see them interacting in that light and what's going on and how they've changed and how they've grown. And then Abby is your new quote-unquote protagonist. Oh, what is she about? What's she doing? What's her camp like? Oh, she's still struggling and she's like fighting more of a war. It's not as personal. She's got like recruits and all these people and these organizations, and oh shit, what's this building up to? And then it culminates in the
I
Joel
just don't think
murder.
that's compelling, though. I don't think that stuff is compelling.
How is that
to-
more compelling than her just going and killing Joel instantly, and then you
because-
spending 11 hours trying to empathize with her?
It's not compelling because we've got no reason to care about her in any way at that beginning, but she's killed Joel at this point, so we have a compelling reason to hate her at least. And then
And how is
playing
that-
through
But then they
playing
spend the
through
rest
her
of the game
story,
forcing you to like her. So the biggest thing I had,
I don't
with
think
The
they
Last of
force
Us
you to
2
like her,
Oh,
by
they
the way. I don't-
100% do.
No,
why is it that? Why is
they
it that
deepen her
Ellie?
character, but that isn't forcing you to like her. It's giving
Jackson,
you the
why is it
opportunity
that
to make
Ellie-
a decision whether you like her or not.
Why is it that Ellie spends the entire game murdering dogs and pregnant women, but Abby spends the entire game hanging out with her friends and feeling sad that they're dead? Because they're forcing you to like Abby. It's writing. It's the writing that's doing it. That's the biggest problem I have with The Last of Us 2. I didn't care that much that they went super dark and super dour and we're like, we're going to take everything from Ellie. That's fine. It's a depressing, dour universe. But they painted Ellie as this like fucking killing machine monster that we didn't spend an entire game growing attached to.
She was going on a mission of vengeance. That was the entire...
But she, in the entire first game, was this likable character.
I think it checks out because it's like it's easier to forgive someone that you hate. Someone that you love than it is to like grow to understand and empathize with someone that you hate from the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah. So the whole thing is in Ellie's cutscene, she's like stabbing a pregnant woman in the neck. She's killing a fucking dog. She's like killing people who have friends. And they're like, oh no, Jeff. Oh. But then when Abby shows up, her whole scenes are she plays fetch with a dog. She has like a love interest. She sees a corpse of someone we've never met before and goes, oh no, not Seb or whoever the fuck it was.
She still did immoral things though. She still did immoral things. It wasn't entirely like she was
right. But the way...
saint.
That's right, but the way that they try to convince you to like her is cheap emotional manipulation, not genuine growth. All of her introductory scenes are, look how hard her life is, look how bad it is, instead of actually growing and feeling that for the character like we did with Joel and Ellie in the first game.
Well, the experiences of Ellie throughout the first game were also extremely harsh.
But we grew with that over time. Ellie didn't just show up and go, my life sucks, my parents are fucking dead. Joel, you don't know how hard it is to be me.
What if Ellie showed up at the very beginning and killed Sarah?
Yeah, exactly.
What if Ellie just showed up and she killed Joel's daughter at the very beginning, and then the rest of the game was about trying to make you like Ellie?
I don't even know how to engage with that.
No.
I don't even know how to engage with that. That's not even a point.
How would you feel if the first game, the first introduction you saw of Ellie was she was like stabbing a puppy in the neck and went, hi, I'm Ellie. You're supposed to transport me. It'd be kind of hard to like her.
It was hard to like her. That's the point of the second. It's the point of Abby. That's why they showed you her killing Joel first. Of course,
it didn't have to.
Of course, they knew that it was going to be hard for you to like her. You're not meant to.
Well, then it's poorly done. Then why am I spending 11 hours playing through someone that I don't like? If the point isn't to grow and understand them.
The goal is to understand this flawed character both ways. You're meant to understand. You're meant to learn and grow and discover more about these two characters on their different paths, and understand the intricacies of them. And over time, maybe you can make the choice which one you like or which one you don't like or which one you resonate most closely with.
Okay,
but here's you don't have to like every single character.
No, but
you should like the character you're spending 11 hours playing.
Why?
What do you mean? Okay, Jackson, let's take a Star Wars game. You're only allowed to play as Rey.
If she had depth, that's fine. If she had some
Abby doesn't
intricacy
have
to
depth
her,
for the first 11 hours. You go through a long series of depth after not having anything besides her killing Joel.
Yes, all characters start off with no depth. You expand on it. You grow.
But
over the 11 hours.
Except here, you start off with her killing a character you love. So it's a lot less than zero. It's negative. It's negative.
Yeah. You don't like her. Okay, you start off not liking her. What's your point?
And you didn't have to, is the point. Like Andrew has, I think, laid out a really compelling argument. If you had just started with having Abby already start being fleshed out, seeing this entire new side of the Last of Us universe, getting her backstory, and then always wondering how is she going to play into Joel and Ellie's story, since clearly these are the main characters, how are they going to intersect? And then as more details are revealed about her being like the daughter of the clay, like all that, and then the decision ultimately gets made to kill Joel. Well, at this point, you're like, oh, I spent so much time with her. I've started to like her, and I really do kind of understand where she's coming from. Like, this decision is shocking, but man, I can almost really empathize with it. Like, at that point, you've already grown with that character.
Don't you feel like doing that kind of robs the player of any choice? Like, it's kind of cheap in that way. Like,
you have a choice currently where she just instantly kills Joel.
The Last of Us
you don't have a choice, but like
you don't have a choice.
You've given them a character that you really like, and then she does something. She kills the guy that you love, and you're playing as her.
And that's why it's emotionally impactful. You
led her to that point.
That's the whole point. That's why it's emotionally impactful.
What is this argument? It's not a choice-driven game. Do you have a choice on whether Ellie spares or kills Abby at the end, Jackson?
No, it's not a choice-driven game, but like, you still guide the character to that point. And building the narrative
and jump through decisions that somebody else made for you. The writers, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Well,
I think maybe choice is the wrong way of putting it, but like I would feel weird if I was playing a game and the narrative was like, all right, you should feel really good about this person. Like this character is great. You love playing as her, and then I do something just fucking disgustingly evil to someone that I had previously liked. I'd feel like that was cheap, personally.
I have a counterexample.
I am so confused because that is literally already what the game
Jackson.
is. That same thing happens and you're still playing as that person. The only difference is you have no idea why she's done it. You don't care. You just hate her because she started by doing
Jackson,
it.
I have
why she did it is
I have
kind
a
of compelling.
counterexample for that. Jackson, imagine, let's use your favorite thing in the world. Imagine you're watching Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh my god, I hate Star Wars, please.
Spoilers for Star Wars Episode 7. Do you think people would grow as attached to Kylo Ren if the very first thing you saw him do was killing Han Solo? And then the rest of the movie was, well, here's why I killed Han Solo. No,
it is kind
the whole
of.
point is they build up to him. What? They have this drama of everyone
last thing
going,
that happens is
oh,
Han
he's got
Solo's
good
death.
in him. He could
In
be
the
a good
first movie, but
Jedi.
then
He's our
there's 2 movies
son,
after
etc.,
where we
etc.
deal-
And that's why it's a twist when at the end his father's like, son, it's time to come home. Stop fucking around. And he goes, I can't. I'm far gone. And he kills Han Solo. That's why it's a shocking moment that happens. But if it just happened in the beginning, you wouldn't care. You'd go, oh, well, he's a dick and he's a dick forever. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a dick. He was a dick throughout the entire first movie, though, and the second.
I'm gonna
He was
try
always a
to,
dick.
for balance sake, I'll try to take Jackson's side, which I will not be able to do effectively because I remember not much from this movie. But how much of the
It's a
Abby
game.
hate do you guys think started from even before the game was released? Because I do remember that were all of those memes of like Neil Druckmann fucking Abby, and everyone saying, "Why is there a muscular woman in this game?"
So
I'm
to
sure
be
that probably
fair
had a
to
role to
that,
play.
To be fair to that probably did play into some degree,
Yeah.
but you got to remember the script was leaked before the game came out.
Well, entire cutscenes were as
Entire cutscene, the entire
I
script,
forgot about
everything. Yeah, that's mostly why people were hating on it. I still remember before the game even came out, people were making Abby Golf Club memes. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Sorry, Jackson.
All right, we opened a whole can of worms here. Wasn't this meant to be a nice ending?
Well, you were the one that had to like hop on the dumb side and say The Last of Us 2's narrative is like perfect or whatever. It's
I had to make my opinion known. Though.
So do you guys think, again, spoiler alerts, but do you guys think the HBO show will have a scene of Abby bashing the shit out of Joel's skull
That's the
into a pulp?
that's the end season cliffhanger, yeah.
Season 2, 100%. Yeah, I can only
And then
pray
it just
that
gets
they
canceled.
I can only pray they don't do it the same way they did in the game because I think that was
no,
just
I
not
hope they do.
effective.
Well, that's
I
a good-
really hope they do.
That's a really good question. If the show is this popular and this well received, what are they planning after they finish this game story? Do you think with all the backlash from 2, they're going to follow that or change it or do their own thing or what?
I'm certain they'll follow it, which I think is going to be a huge disservice. They have a chance to like really flesh it out a lot more and build in a better way, as opposed to just do.
I mean, they'll expand on it for sure. They absolutely will expand on it.
I
as
hope
they've
they
done
get
with
rid of the
this
golf
first season.
club and Abby just Mike Tyson beats the shit out of Joel.
I am
Plays
still
little
just
Mike
like
Tyson
a watermelon
NESD
with
while
her
she's
fists.
wailing on him.
I am still just
Yeah.
super shocked that you like the way The Last of Us 2 plays out, Jackson. You're usually on the side that's like, oh, this was just like out of nowhere shock for the sake of like a shock, which is exactly how I feel with the Abby killing Joel so early thing.
But it wasn't shock for the sake of shock. It set up the entire rest of the game. That's
But
not
there's
shock
still
for the
no
sake of
reason
shock.
why it couldn't have built up to it as opposed to just come out of it like super aggressive out of nowhere like that. 100%. Like there was a more effective way. This was just very much meant to be like another one of those iconic intros like Last of Us had, where it's like, wow, that was memorable.
Yeah.
This was crazy and unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that that's probably what the purpose was, but I personally just find it more compelling the way it's laid out currently.
That just blows my mind.
It's fine. It's not I don't base my opinions on impressing you or anything, so that's fine.
Well, maybe you should start.
I get it to a degree. I just think it's also objectively poorly written. So I get where you're coming from, but I think it's not a good example of a way to do that.
It's fair. I didn't start this to change any minds. I know what I.
Well, that's
want
good because
in
you
life.
didn't, Jackson. We're never coming to your stupid side. We're gonna stay on the right side of history.
You're on the right side.
Yeah,
I'll say that on YouTube.
Well, I'll see you in season 2, Jackson, of The Last of Us show.
Ooh, I hope now that they follow the second game for the second season so we can come back here and all of us just bitching and moaning and fighting. Oh, fuck yeah.
So do we know how long
I
the season
really.
is? Sorry.
And 9 or 8 episodes, I think. It's
Okay.
decent. It's like each episode's about 50 minutes too, so it's a decent chunk.
The problem with HBO
I heard it was super
is that
successful.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's been super successful. Like it's the largest, I think, launch of any new IP on HBO, from what I read, or something like that. Or the viewership was up 20%, which is the largest amount episode to episode. So I think the reception has been really well.
And which is
Really good.
extremely impressive because it has to compete with Velma right now too. So it's doing really impressive stuff.
What were you gonna say, Kai?
I was going to say that HBO doesn't have the best record because HBO, Game of Thrones, first few seasons, everybody loved it, but then the ending nobody liked. And then, what is Westworld still going on? Because I remember liking the first season a lot, but then the third season was such fucking shit. And I hope the same thing doesn't happen with the show, I guess.
Well, this first season, I think, is pretty faithfully adapting the entire first game. So I think they've got the framework, and if the rest of the story is adapted in the same way, then I think they're fine because the quality is great from the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think by season 2 or 3, this is gonna go down the gutter.
Well, season 3 is probably not going to be adapted from anything, so that
Kaya,
would be concerning.
is Westworld worth watching if I stop after the first season?
Just
Yes.
watch the first season.
Yeah, literally just stop
absolutely.
after that.
Just the first season.
I have
Anthony
heard
Hopkins is a lot of fun.
I have
It's a
heard
good
from a
show.
good number of friends that Westworld it gets bad, but the first season is like a masterpiece, and I'm really interested to check it out.
It's
First
very
season's
good.
really good.
Okay, I might watch it.
Alrighty.
You done?
All
let's
right.
wrap.
Positive note.
Yeah,
did it.
Westworld
Was it?
season 1.
Was it a positive note?
Yes, here, I'll positive it out of the top with a cherry on top. Watch Rambo 4,
Nice.
watch Flight of the Phoenix, watch Flight, watch Con Air, watch The Last of Us, HBO, watch Westworld Season 1. There you go. You're welcome.
Cool.
Awesome.
And watch Abby beat zombies with her big Mike Tyson arms.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually,
That
play
part
it.
is
Don't
fun.
watch it.
Yeah, well,
Feel the haptic feedback. It's great.
yeah, the rumble.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for
you
listening.
for listening to this week's episode. Patreon.com/theofficialpodcast for bonus content. Go check that out. There's probably a few bonuses in the past where we really went in depth on The Last of Us. I'm sure we went through a period where we talked about that quite a bit. So if this was at all entertaining, go over to patreon.com/theofficialpodcast and learn more. Other than that, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye.